Good morning, everybody. It is Friday morning, April 24th, 2020. This is Sacred Heart Yoga. I'm Dr. Bill Bledsoe. I have been doing these prayers every morning for years. Well, not years, a good year. And I felt called to bring this to anybody else that wanted to share it. So, this is not about making money. The internet is all about making money. Sell some big lie over another big lie so you'll sell some products and get somebody afraid of something. No, this is all for you personally. This is all for you to grow and experience your walk with God as you see him. Each of us have a different walk with God. Each of us see God differently because we all have different life experiences, and we create images in our minds of God. And there is no way it's going to be accurate. It's just created from our lives. So we all are on a different walk with God. We all are on a different path, and we all see God differently, and it's all the same God. And so I need your help here. I am not making any money on this. I'm not trying to do it. I'm not trying to grow it. I'm not trying to do anything except for provide to you a wonderful free service where you can form an incredible relationship with God as you see him. So I need your help. I want your feedback as to tell me, well, this might improve it. And I'll try it for a few days and we'll see how it works. Just give me your feedback, give me comments, and please try to make them constructive, because I'm not trying to gain anything here. So if we attract the negativity, then I'll just kind of delete it. It's not going to be wasted on anybody. But if you can think of something constructive that would make it better for you, this is all about you, not me. I do this much better when I do it by myself instead of lead a group. So it's not for me. It's all about you. And if there is something positive that you can think of that I can do to make it better for you, please let me know. As with all Sacred Heart Yoga, if you're new to it, there's a couple of things that are important. I'm just going to set up a method of prayer and begin the prayers, but you have to end the prayers. You have to fill in what's important to you this day, this time in your life. That's how your relationship with God will develop. It's through love and gratitude, love and gratitude, love and gratitude. And you will build this incredible relationship with a loving God that's always been there inside you and around you and with you. So you fill in the prayer, and the other thing is that I always recommend first thing in the morning, if this is your first time, is don't just look at it for 2 minutes. Try to go through a whole session. It's not for everybody. Maybe you can look at it in 2 minutes and tell real quick this isn't for you. But the only way you'll know whether it has an effect on you and whether it's something you should be doing regularly is if you go through a full session. And so I highly recommend that if you have any desire to serve God as you see him. So we'll begin the Sacred Heart Yoga prayer. God, I thank you for this method of prayer, this wonderful method of each of us praying individually out loud to you, of toning at the end, Om, and of body movements, relaxing and healing our bodies each day as we begin our service to you. And I thank the generations that have brought this to us, from the house of Abraham, the house of David, from his Jesus, from his mother Mary, his father Joseph, from Mary Magdalene, and especially from Virginia Ellen, the wonderful woman that wrote the book Sacred Heart Yoga, so that anybody can practice this thick 6,000-year-old method of prayer free of charge. No donations. You guys couldn't donate to me if you wanted to. You wouldn't be able to find me. No donations, but she brought this wonderful method of prayer to you and delivering it to you through me. And so we begin the Sacred Heart prayer, yoga prayer. Repeat after me. Beloved, I devote this practice this day to the evolution of my soul, to the fulfillment of my destiny, in service to the One. And I allow myself to be purified as I rejoice in the kingdom of heaven and the love of God. And I give thanks for these blessings, these moments I share with my body and my spirit in oneness. And so it is. Amen. Next, we're going to clear our energy fields of anything, any distractions, any fears that are coming up that might affect us and take us away from our relationship with God. Fear stops the ability to love and love God, love anything. So fear is kind of the enemy of your good, clear walk with God. If you live fear and you keep feeding it, then every step, every time you do, it will take you farther away from your journey that you're supposed to be on, your destiny. So we clear our energy field. We clear ourselves of all fear by putting our right hand up at the 12 o'clock position above our heads, move it in a big circle over to 3 o'clock, as I see it. It's the other way around if you're looking at me. 3 o'clock, over to my right knee, over to my left knee, back up to the 9 o'clock position, and back up to 12 o'clock, making a big circle. And repeat after me these prayers as you do it, and we'll tone at the end. I clear my energy field of anyone or anything standing within. I bless them and I send them to the light. Now, for those of you that it may be your first time doing this, we're going to practice toning 3 times. Toning is saying the word Om, O-H-M, at a frequency, at a pitch that resonates within your own mind, within the center of your skull, whatever feels good to you, whatever makes that resonance, that vibration in your own self, your own mind. So we'll practice it 3 times. Om. 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 Now we're going to ask God, how may I serve you? And the answer almost always comes to me in just 1 or 2 words as to how I can serve this day, this time in my life. And so what we do is we take our right hands over our hearts, over our solar plexus. And the prayer is, God, how may I serve? Om. Now what we're going to do is we're going to stand and we're going to announce what came to us in 1 or 2 words, and it's again in the privacy of our own homes. Nobody can hear anything, any of your prayers, anything that you're doing. So we stand and we put our arms, our hands out, facing forward, palms out. And here we say what came to us, those 1 or 2 words, we say it as, my intention to serve is to, and then we fill in the 1 or 2 words. So that's the prayer. Om. Now we sit down on our mats and lay down on our backs. The first 6 poses are the right side of our body, which is considered the masculine side in yoga. It's divided up into the right side of our body, and then the left side, the feminine side, and then the middle, which is a combination of both. And that's the way I picture God. I picture God having masculine traits, but I'm a human, and I came from a father and a mother. And so I picture the father as masculine traits of doing, of knowledge, of knowing, then giving me the truth, the true wisdom. And I picture the mother as the gifts of the Holy Spirit, like love, pure nurturing, like nurturing her children and watching them over, and just pure love, caressing them, holding them, and teaching them. And her ability to create life. That is such a wonderful ability, and it goes on in us each day, just creating new cells, and it's all led by the mother's ability to create. And then down the center is joining the father and the mother and realizing that God is one, but is many, many things. So we start with the right side, pull our right knee up to our chest. Here, the prayer begins with, Father, I love you, and Father, I thank you. Om. Now we take our left foot or right foot over to our left thigh. We hold it with our left hand, pull it over to our right thigh, and let our right knee fall down to the mat. And our right arm goes above our heads and falls down to the mat up above our heads. And here the prayer begins with, Father, I love you, and Father, I thank you. Oh. Now we take that right foot in our right hand and pull it down to our pelvis. Our left arm goes above our heads. And here the prayer begins with, Father, I love you, and Father, I thank you. Oh. Now that right foot goes up towards the heavens, and we hang on to it with our right hand. Pull our knee down towards the mat. Our left arm stays above our heads, reaching down towards the mat. And here the prayer begins with, Father, I love you, and Father, I thank you. Om. Now we let that right foot go up towards the heavens and fall out to the right side, extending it out, opening us up. And our arms fall out to our sides from our sides of our shoulders, straight out, palms up, and let them stretch out down to the mat. And here the prayer begins with, Father, I love you. Father, I thank you. Om. Now we turn our heads to the right, and that right foot comes across our bodies over to the left side, keeping our shoulders down on the mat and our arms extended, palms up. And here the prayer is, Father, I love you. And then, Father, I thank you. Now we go back to resting position with our legs outstretched, our arms at our sides, and we're going to do the left side of our body. So we pull our left knee up to our chest, hold it there, and the prayer begins with, Mother, I love you, and Mother, I thank you. Now we hold that left foot in our right hand, pull it over to our right thigh, let our left knee fall down to the mat. And this time our left arm goes above our heads and stretches out. And the prayer begins with, Mother, I love you, and Mother, I thank you. Oh. Now that left foot goes, we grab it, we switch hands, goes into our left hand, and our right arm goes above our heads, extends down to the mat, and we pull that left foot down to our pelvis. And here the prayer begins with, Mother, I love you, and Mother, I thank you. Now that left foot goes up to the heavens, holding on to it with our left hand, keeping our right arm up above our head, stretched down to the mat. And here your prayer begins with, Mother, I love you, and Mother, I thank you. Oh. Now we let that left foot fall, raise up to the heavens and fall out to the left side, extending, opening up our pelvis. And then we take our arms extended out from our shoulders, again, palms up, and let them fall down to the mat. Here, your prayer begins with, Mother, I love you, and Mother, I thank you. Now we take that left foot and we turn our heads to the left, and we take the left foot and we cross it over our bodies to the right side, keeping our shoulders down on the mat. And here the prayer, your prayer begins with, Mother, I love you, and then Mother, I thank you. Now our arms, we go back to resting position, our arms at our sides and our legs outstretched, and we do the center of our bodies, combining the masculine and the feminine together as one. So we pull both knees up to our chest. And here the prayer begins with, God, I love you, and God, I thank you. Now we hold our right foot in our right hand and our left foot in our left hands, and we pull the soles of our feet together down near our pelvis, letting our knees fall out to the side. And here the prayer begins with, God, I love you, and God, I thank you. Now we let our feet pull apart, keeping them down near our pelvis. Right foot, right hand, left foot, left hand. And the prayer begins with, God, I love you. God, I thank you. Now we take both heels and we point them up towards the heavens, pulling our knees down towards the mat. And here the prayer begins with, God, I love you, and God, I thank you. Now we let our feet fall down to the mat near our pelvis, and we turn, our arms go out to the sides, stretching out from our shoulders, and our palms are down this time. We turn our heads to the left, and our knees go to the right, and we keep our shoulders down on the mat. And here the prayer begins with, God, I love you. God, I thank you. Now we turn our heads to the right and our knees to the left. And here the prayer begins with, God, I love you, and God, I thank you. Now we go back to resting position, our legs outstretched, our arms at our sides. And this time we're going to, it's called the surrender prayer, where we surrender anything to God that might get in the way of our relationship with God, our service to God, might be worrying us. Again, fear is the antithesis, I think is the word, of love. So you have every moment of every day, you have the choice between fear and love. And so we surrender anything that might be fear, that might be worrying us, that might be troubling us, that might keep our minds from being in service to God and serving God as we walk this day. And we surrender it to God by putting our hands under our sit bones and leaning up on our elbows, and our head goes back, and top of our heads go back to touch the mat. And here the prayer begins with, God, I surrender to you. Now we go back to resting position, our arms at our sides, our feet outstretched. And we take our left arm up towards the heavens and let it fall over to the right side of our bodies. And we take our right hand halfway between our left elbow and left shoulder. And here the prayer begins with, God, I choose. Om. Now we take our right hand up towards the heavens and let it fall over to the left side of our bodies. And we take our left hand halfway between our right elbow and right shoulder and stretch it over farther. And here the prayer begins with, God, I can. Om. Now we go back to resting position. Our arms at our sides, our legs outstretched. And now we form a tabernacle below our bodies by putting the soles of our feet together up near our pelvis and letting our knees fall out to the sides. And we form a second tabernacle of our hearts by putting our hands in prayer position over our hearts and extending them up 2/3, 3/4 the way up to the heavens. And in this important tabernacle of our hearts, we find God's beautiful chalice, and it's filled with any gift, and gift is the word I guess I know of, but anything that you could ever desire in service to God is in this chalice. And the prayer will be, this time we'll drink from the chalice, whatever we want, whatever we desire this day, whatever we need. God is there to provide for us and help us and give us exactly what we need. So the prayer begins with, God, I drink from your chalice. Now we keep our hands in prayer position and we move them over above our heads and down to the mat. And here we form a tabernacle over our entire bodies. And the prayer here is, God, I thank you for my body, my mind, my humanness. Om. Now we're going to go into the Anoint series. It's a 4-step process. First, we take our thumbs to our foreheads. I'll describe the 4 steps, and then we'll go through it 3 different times. And we'll anoint like 3 different things that we receive or want or need from God. So we take our thumbs to our foreheads and we anoint, this gift from God. We move our thumbs down to our lips and we bless this gift from God and we dedicate it only in service to God. And then we move our hands down over our hearts in prayer position. And here we truly thank God for this gift he's given us. And then we point our fingers down towards our bellies, our abdomens, and extend our arms out to the 3 o'clock position, like the arms of a clock. and move our hands up in a big circle up to 12 o'clock, and then back to 9 o'clock, and then back to our foreheads. And that prayer, when we point our fingers down, is, God, I fill my body with this gift. So we will start the first of three, our thumbs up to our foreheads. And here the prayer begins with, God, I anoint the gift of. Om. Now we take our thumbs down to our lips. And here the prayer begins with, God, I bless your gift of, and God, I dedicate it in service to you. Now we take our hands down in prayer position over our hearts. And here the prayer begins with, God, I thank you for this gift of. Om. Now we point our fingers down into our abdomens and go to the 3 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 9 o'clock position with our arms. And here the prayer begins with, God, I fill my body with this gift of. Om. Now we do the series a second time, and we begin the prayer with, God, I anoint your gift of. Om. Now we move our thumbs down to our lips, and the prayer begins with, God, I bless your gift of, and I dedicate it in service to you. Om. Now we move our hands in prayer position down over our hearts. And here the prayer begins with, God, I thank you for your gift to me of. Om. Now we point our fingers down and then extend our arms out to 3 o'clock and then 12 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and back to our foreheads. And here the prayer begins with, God, I fill my body, my mind, and my humanness with your gift to me of Om. Now we take our thumbs back to our foreheads for the third and final 4-part series. And here the prayer begins with, God, I anoint this gift to me from you of Om. Now we take our thumbs down to our lips. And here the prayer begins with, God, I bless your gift to me of, and God, I dedicate your gift to me in service to you. Om. Now we take our hands down in prayer position over our hearts. And here the prayer begins with, God, I truly thank you for your gift to me of Om. Now we point our fingers down and go out to 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, or 12 o'clock, 9 o'clock positions with our arms. And here the prayer begins with, God, I fill my body, my heart, my mind with your gift to me of Om. Now we go back to resting position. Arms at our sides, our legs outstretched, and our right ankle goes over our left ankle, and our right arm, right wrist goes over our left wrist, over our hearts. And here the prayer begins with, God, I thank you for your protection, your safety, and Om. Now we go back to resting positions. legs outstretched, arms at our sides, and we roll over on our side and we push ourselves back up into sitting position using our hands and our arms. This time, our right leg goes straight out in front of us. Our left foot goes across our right knee. We hold our left knee with our right arm. We put our left arm behind our backs for support. Then we turn our head and shoulders to the left. And this time, the prayer begins with, desire I am, desire I am, desire I am, I desire. Om. Now we switch legs. This time our left leg goes out in front of us. Our right foot comes over our left knee. And we turn to the right this time, supporting ourselves with our right hand behind our backs. And we turn our heads to the right, our shoulders to the right, holding our right knee and our left arm. And here the prayer begins with, will I am, will I am, will I am, I will. Now we get up on our knees and we put our hands in prayer position over our hearts. And here the prayer begins with, God, I thank you. Om. Now we lean back and we'll sway back and we'll lean forward down into child's pose, where we form a triangle with our thumbs and fingers over our foreheads down on the mat. So that's a tabernacle with our thumbs and fingers. And here we just rejoice in the feeling of God's love, knowing He's there, God's healing power, healing every cell in our body. And we just feel the presence of God there with us, filling our bodies. Oh,
Now we go back to sitting position. And these two prayers, like we'll start with our right leg out to the right side, our left foot up to the inside of our right thigh. And these last two are the same prayer. It's either I am or I will. And so we begin this prayer with God, I am. Om. Now that left leg goes out to the left side. Our right foot comes up to the inside of our left thigh. And this time the prayer begins with God, I will. Om. Now we go back into sitting position, and our hands or palms up on our knees, and we take our thumbs touching our middle two fingers. We keep our back straight and we bend forward at our pelvis. And the prayer is I bow first to my humanness, and then the second prayer we do it a second time, and it's I bow to my divinity within. So we bend forward at our pelvis, and the prayer begins with I bow to my body, my humanness. Om. Now we sit up straight, and this time we bend forward again in our pelvis, keeping our back straight. And the prayer begins with God, I bow to you and the divinity within me. Om. Now we go to the very final stage, and where we create a warm, loving place above us. And we can enter that place and stay in it as long as we want. And we do this first by feeling the wonderful white light of the mother's love, her nurturing, her constant creation of new cells, new being, new creatures. And we feel her white light and where we're grounded in the left side of our pelvis. And it comes up through our bodies, up through our legs, filling every cell in our legs, up through our abdomens, filling every cell within our abdomens, up through our diaphragms, up through our hearts, filling our heart to overflowing with her love, filling our lungs, filling our throats, this white light going up through our heads, filling our heads, our every thought. And then it comes out the tops of our heads and goes up into the sky, into the heavens, and showers down on the whole earth. God, the Mother's white light of love. Now we feel on the right side of our pelvis, the Father's love and his wisdom, his knowledge, and his doing abilities. We feel this beautiful blue light filling the right side of our pelvis, filling our legs, coming up, filling every cell in our body, in our belly, to teaching it with the wisdom how to recreate itself and how to grow and be healthy. This wisdom, blue light, fills our diaphragms, our hearts, fills our hearts that circulate this blue light to every cell in our body constantly all day, and fills our lungs where we can breathe in God the Father and the Holy Spirit's blue light all day, fills our throats, fills our heads, and comes out the tops of our heads. And here the white light and blue light mix, and it showers down on the whole earth. The white light of God the Mother's love and God the Father's love and wisdom. And now we step up into this kingdom of light above our heads. And here we can stay as long as we want, but we ask one simple question: God, what is it that I need to know this day?